Look at this. Oh yes, Gitana 18 is flying. As a team, many of them have been at this stage several times before, but it's still very clear that this step is still a big deal for them. At the very least, it's fascinating to see the new configuration. In particular, the canting foil that works outwards rather than swinging inboard, the canting main dagger board, and those innovative A-frame rudders. Conditions were light too, just 10 to 13 knots off the coast of Belle-Île on the west coast of France. But it was sufficient for the 32-metre long 19-tonne machine to take off. And while we might have seen lots of shots of foiling our teams, this one is particularly special, as Gitana 18 is seen as pushing the next stage of development with some pretty radical ideas. As you probably know already, we've been following this project closely. And a few weeks ago I was aboard the new machine and talked to one of the key players in the project, Sebastien Sainson. At that stage they hadn't flown, but I was invited to take a look below decks, where Sebastien talked me through the project. It turns out they're quite sensitive about some of the details below decks, and having seen it, I can see why. Nevertheless, Sebastien was happy to talk me through where the project was at that stage, what the next steps would be, but also what their thinking was when it came to the interior. Where do you even start when you've got the sort of commissioning list? I mean, what's the broad process? How does it work?
It's actually not that difficult. It's more, we're quite used to that in working all together in the team, and it's really a team thing, to be organized between me, between Pierre Tissier, the technical director, with Charles, and say, okay, this is everything we want to do in this time frame, and then in front of that you put priorities. Most of the time they'll be by, what is the most complex system on board, or what is the one we know possibly we could have the biggest problem if it was not working. And so first you go down your list like that, saying, okay, maybe the center board, there's a new system in there that's really complex. And maybe if it doesn't work as we want to, it's going to take a lot of time to fix or to make an evolution to it. So obviously you'll start by that one, like that. You tick it off the list and you say that's next. And so you go down the list like that by, let's say, complexity of the systems, but in the same time, what is the system the most performing? That brings you the most performance, let's say. Because we never must forget that the aim of the boat is to win the Route du Rhum at the end of the year. And so, we all kind of know, yes, this boat has very crazy evolutions everywhere. What are the ones that are the most important? Obviously, some of them are a bit less, or you class them by level of performance, and you say, okay, this one really needs to be on board and really needs to work better for the Route du Rhum, so let's focus on that one. And then, obviously, you have more details of things where we'll try, obviously, to do everything, and usually we manage to, but if you have a little detail somewhere that's not solved, it doesn't really matter as much. So that's how you really prioritize complexity and performance, and you try and mix it like that, and it gives you kind of your time frame and your priority list.
Right. So, I mean, you're not at this stage looking at how the boat performs against its polars, because you haven't got the foils in, I guess. There's no point in doing that. But even if you did have the foils in, that's not what you'd be looking at straight away, is it? You'd still be doing the same process as you are now, looking at systems?
Obviously, if we had the foils, and that's what I was saying just before, maybe, obviously, we would have been super excited to straight away. And I mean, I understand the sailors, Charles and Erwan and Julien, they've been doing thousands of hours of simulator, so now they want to go and see if, so when you get the most powerful car you've always dreamed of, first thing you want to do is go and drive 200 miles an hour on the motorway, I guess. It's a bit the same. Obviously, you want to try, and we will, but you always have to stay in your logic of saying, okay, we don't have the foils. Forget about the performance, the pure performance. But that doesn't mean you're not looking at performance. For example, we have really special rudders on the boat. Do they steer? Does the boat turn as it's supposed to in the computer? How fast you manage to turn compared to what you were waiting. That's still performance, so we managed to see things like that. The rig, the same, we have this rig that we can set. So even if the boat's not going as fast as it will be soon, well, we can work on the rig, see the effect on the sails when we power it up, depower, see the performance it has. So we still manage to, work around everything, just that we're limited at 30 knots, let's say, which is
only
not
30
too much.
knots, yeah. Just 30 knots. So you've had 9 or 10 days sailing so far. Does the procedure going forward change significantly? Well, actually, the next question should be, I guess, when do the foils go in? Because that sounds like that's the next big thing.
Hope you would tell me. No, they'll be coming soon. So we have them today in the yard. They are really complex pieces, and I mean, it's the first time us and our contractors build such complex parts. You have carbon with hydraulic inside mixed with metal. So we're taking time because we really want to make them perfect, because we know that they're a big factor and key of performance of the boat, and there's lots of little details that people don't see inside them, and that would be really time consuming if they didn't work well. And so we prefer to really take the time to say, okay, the foil, okay, maybe we put it 2 weeks, 3 weeks later than planned on the boat, but the foil we're going to put on the boat, we're not going to have to take it, hopefully, out again because we rushed it out, finishing up because we really, really wanted it. And that would have been not a good go to do that. So today, I'd say in 3 weeks, a month, something, you'll be seeing foils. In May, you'll be seeing foils on the boat. Right.
And so, will you install the foils with the boat in the water?
Yes, everything. Well, like for the rest of the appendages, basically, that's always been. It was already the case with our previous boat, Gitana 17. An important thing to us is to be able to maneuver and move on and put all the appendages and everything on the boat when it's in the water, because that is also a factor of performance. I mean, when you come back from a race, or when you have another race, or you come back from training, happens that you hit something or that you break something. If it takes you 3 weeks to fix a foil, well, at the end of the year you're losing performance, because maybe you're going to have to do that 3 times in the year, and you have lost 3, 4, 5 weeks of sailing. If you can take your foil off in a day, less than a day, I think we managed to do it in.
Wow.
I would say we haven't done it yet on those, but on the other appendages, a rudder, for example, between saying we take it off, bring it in the shed, is something like 2-3 hours maximum. And that's also a factor of performance. I mean, performance goes everywhere. It goes on going quick on the boat, but being able to fix it quickly, being able to, double check things. And so, we put it in the water and we try and make sure that the system's made in a way that for the tech team, they don't have to spend ages taking it off and, getting the boat out of the water and everything.
At some stage, the testing and the preparing shifts into going offshore, I guess,
yes.
And then really starting to sort of sort out the big Mars. I mean, roughly, when is that? Is that months away?
No. So actually, the boat has already done one offshore sail last week. Okay. So they left for 36 hours. Because even if you're not going quick somewhere, you have to think it's like on any kind of new system or new machine. Everything's new, the electronics new, everything's new. So being able to go and already just have all the systems turned on in real condition for 36 hours, charge the batteries with the engine and rather than the K group and everything, well, you actually validate things. So the boat's done already one, and the aim is to do maybe one more before we get the foils, and then that's why I was saying that it's important of the rest of the boat being as ready as possible. You see now we have the bunk beds, we're starting to have the boat more and more ready. And the aim is really, once we get the foils, to be able to, after 3-4 sails with the foils, to see they're acting as we want them to and there's no problems, we should be going offshore.
Exciting. Yeah, exciting. Now, I know you don't want to show the interior, and I can fully understand that. It's on any new boat, it's a sensitive area. But it is fascinating because I'm sort of know Gitana 17 quite well and been on board that boat a lot. It feels a lot smaller. I mean, for a start. I mean, the main hull feels narrow for a start, but it feels more organised to me. I mean, I don't take that the wrong way, but
I see what you mean.
It's got more. I don't know. I can almost understand bits of it.
It's actually. Well, obviously, it's for people and the sailors who've been on both boats. You actually recognise some things. So the winches are kind of in the same place. I mean, in the organisation. One big thing we've done is shifting the living space behind the working space. Here we're in the working space. You can see a bit here. the living space. That's to have better visibility towards the front, and when you're sailing you want to see the best possible, and to have light coming into, natural light coming into the boat. That's really something we've been working on a lot. It was a big challenge structurally to you see it a bit everywhere, to be able to have all those windows in such a structural part, but we didn't do any concession on weight for that. We said no, the most important is that the boat feels, nice. Obviously for aerodynamics today you want to be more and more narrow, more and more protected, but it's not only for performance of the boat itself and the aero of the central hull, it also be for the sailors. Those boats, they're going faster and faster, you have waves coming over them when you're going 45 knots. You don't want to be, outside, you want to be inside, but you want to be inside feeling outside. I don't know if... So that's what we've tried to do here, is to be inside the boat, but by any area you are in, even behind, you just not even move and you see nearly everywhere. So that's where it finished up, kind of this way of thinking.
It is amazing. As it happens, we've been looking around at quite a lot of IMOCAs this week and been on board quite a few ones that I hadn't been on before. And it's quite surprising, you're reminded just how little visibility you've got on quite a lot of them. And this, by comparison, I mean, you can stand here and look around and you can't see out the back, but you can see everything else. It's quite remarkable.
Yeah, well, there's actually been, it's not secret anymore, quite a discussion about this in the Ultim class that I think will finish. It is also happening in the IMOCA class, but after the story with SVR, where it was the first boat with a cockpit was really below deck, or inside the boat. And so for that, with the class, we've rewritten a new rule so that new boats can't be like that anymore. And we're the first boat to be designed around this rule, where we have to have a minimum of visibility in different sectors and different areas, helming, winching, everything. And so this is we're way over the percentages of the minimum. But yeah, the aim of the class and us was to say, okay, we don't want those boats to finish being, underground boats. And I think that they're going to come to that on the IMOCA. I know they're working also on the visibility rule to try and, go a little bit more towards seeing outside. Some boats you see, like the old Paprec, for example, has been working on that quite a bit with nice visibility. And so I think it's a good compromise, because you really, at the end, you realize that you manage to do something that's really performing, that's nice looking, and where you see well. It's not an easy game to do, but I think we've managed on this boat to show we could do it.
Yeah, it's not. Some of the IMOCAs, it's a bit odd when you sail them and you're down below, and unless you're in the one or two positions where you can actually see out and see forward, you feel very disconnected with the whole experience, that seems at odds with the whole purpose of the boat. No, it's absolutely fascinating, and for a boat that's 100 foot or 32 metres long, it's not very big inside, is it?
No, well, it's the aim actually, because those boats they go quick, and going quick means stopping quick sometimes. It's like on a rally car, you want to be all head down, because obviously if you're going 45 knots and you hit a wave and the boat decelerates a lot, the bigger your area is with nothing around you, the further away you'll fly, or you want to attach yourself, and you don't want to spend your time attached inside your working area. And that's really the reason. You have, you go from your helm to your pedestal to your winch, always with easily one hand for you, one hand for the boat. You really manage to feel safe and not say, if I go from here to here and in the same time the boat, kind of stops, I'm going to finish,
Right. Do these boats decelerate as fast as an IMOCA does when it buries its bow?
Oh yeah, they can. Yeah, for
really?
sure.
Can they trip on their foils?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, or big wave, or you trip on the foil, big wave, and you can stop quite hard. So that's why we sleep like on the IMOCAs, feet forward, and that's really why we try and be careful to not have long distances to do. And if you remember on really older trimarans or crude trimarans or the mod 70s, for example, the cockpit was spread out the whole beam of the boat. At the back. And that means for the helmsman or for a crew, if you wanted to take the jib sheet from starboard and go and do something to the jib sheet on port, you'd have to run 5-10 meters across the boat. If in the same time does that, if you fall off the foils or you stop, you'll be flying. And yes, you can attach yourself, but you really outside we're attached all the time, but inside you don't want to have to be always attaching yourself.
Fascinating stuff. I have to ask, have you got a favourite part of this, a favourite part of the boat, that maybe a bit that you weren't actually expecting to be your favourite bit?
Actually, I would say, funny enough, because I'm more in, I like the appendages, but I find this inside actually, because yes, well, the foils are crazy, the rudders are a bit different, and yeah, obviously I can't say I really like them, and I like what we've done, but I find, for me, one of the things where we spend time, and it's funny because it's not the most performance side, but this cockpit and the way it feels, I think I'm really proud of what the team's done. It's really a part of the boat that's nice.
Yeah,
I mean, you feel like you would nearly want to do, and I don't want to, but go around the world on the boat. You're like, oh, it's not too bad.
You say that
now. Leave that to Charles.
Yes, but thanks so much, Zeb, for
Thank
showing
you.
us around, and thanks
you
to you and the
to see
team
us.
for keeping us in touch with what's going on, because it's a fascinating project. I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. Hope to see you soon.
You will.